this time last year, there were red faces all round as the Lion devoured a wallaby on the hallowed Gabba turf.
The dancing feet of O'Driscoll has embarrassed the wallaby defence.
12 months on, new game and new faces. The proud Springbok is here to inflict further pain. And they certainly started in that vein last weekend.
New Zealand in trouble! Third and clear! What a try!
Although the men in black ruled the day,
And Robertson, that is the clincher.
the revamped Green Machine won new respect. They face Australia tonight with a World Cup focus. A focus geared to reverse their heartbreak in '99.
Stephen London has put Australia in the lead.
The Wallabies have thawed out from their Kiwi deep freeze. A lost cause, but one that almost took a dramatic late turn.
The try's on for Matthew Burke.
The last clash between Wallabies and Springboks produced a heart-stopping draw in Perth. So tonight, Woolloongabba takes on its literal meaning. Fight, talk, place.
We're going to go out there and be very physical and really throw it at them and try and ruffle them up a little bit and see if they can stick to their game.
Tri-Nations is back with a vengeance on Australian soil. It's fast, it's furious, and it's feisty. And you'll see it all right here on 7 Rugby. It's been an extraordinary week for Australian rugby for the wrong reason. Tunegate dominating the build-up to tonight's game here at the Gabba. The Courier Mail breaking the story only this week that Wallaby winger Ben Tune was treated with a banned drug 16 months ago. And the Springbok camp has had plenty to say about the cover-up. Coach Rudolph Stoyle even suggesting that both teams be drug tested before tonight's game. Despite last week's loss to New Zealand, the Boks have taken a lot of heart from that performance. They feel the Aussies are the team now feeling the pressure. Wallaby coach Eddie Jones has returned fire in the war of words, but will be emphasising discipline and composure. The Aussie team has received best wishes from the Perth-based SAS battalion, which is currently in Afghanistan. And they send their best wishes to the SAS boys for a safe return to their families. This is only the 6th test match played at the Gabba, and surprisingly, Australia has never won here. Blistering performance by Jason Robinson for the Lions last year, and the Lions taking the first test at the Gabba by 29-13. And what about the magnificent performance of Brian O'Driscoll, who really left the Australian defence floundering? Well, Australia came back magnificently to win that series, but we welcome you here tonight to the Gabba 12 months on as the Tri-Nations opens on Australian soil in 2002. Well, there have been plenty of scoring punches in the verbal stoush, but really now it's time for both teams to put up or shut up. Well, Chris Handy, the tradition of a classic Wallaby presenting the captain's jersey, it's been handed over to 3 very special gentlemen this evening. Tell us about them.
Gordon War and rugby have been inextricably linked. And on the left, the hero of Kakota, Stan Bishop, Paul Collins and Nicky Barr, all the heroes in their own right of the 39 side. They're presenting the Wallabies with their jerseys and in themselves getting Wallaby ties. What a fantastic tradition. And the team will be pumped. They were pumped when they went to Pretoria, but it was the skill of this special man, Bobby Skinstad, for the Springboks that night that cut them to ribbons. He hit the line close to the ruck and sprinted, and he was the difference on that night. He's not in the best form at the moment against the All Blacks, but he'll be somebody that they'll have to watch. Otherwise, they will pay. In Perth last year, the 14-all draw, the Wallabies still couldn't get away from this cloying Springbok defence. And when they opened up, they were able to bung on a great try. The Perth public had been yet to see the best of the Wallabies. And this year against the Maoris, it was great. Well, we'll be here to see exactly what goes on at the Gabba. It's a very special night here. They will keep plunging to the line, and they owe the rugby public here at the Gabba one from the Lions series. Let's see them play it out. Bring it on.
Thanks very much, Bud. And as we go to the break, hats off to Wallaby fullback Chris Latham. A hole-in-one at the 4th at the magnificent Bonball International Resort at Coffs Harbour. And if you watch closely, you could maybe do the same.
We're growing, basically playing some exciting rugby, keeping the ball for phases, scoring tries, and in the process that we also want to win. we're looking into the future with a lot of confidence.
Well, the focus of the team this week's been really terrific. We've really trained well, prepared well, looking forward to the game and looking forward to playing well, and within the team, and the focus has been very good. The leadership of the team's been extremely good, and I think we'll match that up with a good 80 minutes tonight.
Yes, we're counting down to kick-off here at the Gabba as the two sides, Australia and South Africa, prepare to vent full fury on each other in what is certainly going to be an outstanding match here tonight. Well, let's now cross to cooler climes, the spectacular Perisher Blue Resort, and come in former Wallaby captain Mark Ella. Mark, I believe you have a world first down there tonight. You're looking pretty cold, but what's this all about?
Well, it's a Sunny Vega snow rugby. It is a world first. We've got the boys out there running around at the moment. It's a pretty tough game. It's -2 degrees at the moment, under lights here at Perisher Blue. But the boy and certainly the boys and the crowd are certainly enjoying themselves.
Well, I noticed Brian Brown kicked off, the famous Australian actor who's promoting his new film, Dirty Deeds. David Knox playing for the men in green, the South African side. I hope they didn't win, did they?
No, the good guys always win, mate. Just like the Wallabies are going to win tonight. But Brian is staying at the resort and agreed to kick off, and that was a fabulous thing for the event.
And what about your thoughts on tonight's match here at the Gabba in warmer conditions?
Well, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different than it is here tonight, but I think the Wallabies can win if they just remain focused. Obviously, there's been a lot of niggle in the press, and the two coaches have obviously taken the opportunity to have pot shots at each other, but I think the Wallabies have got far too much skill for the South Africans, as long as they keep their composure, remain calm, and just play the game the way they should.
The game they snow in heaven. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Gordon. Good luck to Wallabies.
And John Eales, I think Mark Ella has changed colour. He's turned blue.
He looks a lot like Toto Kefu did in Christchurch, I think.
But it's been a turbulent build-up to this game, John, particularly with the Ben Tune affair. What's your perspective on it?
Well, I think Ben Tune has obviously been the unfortunate victim of circumstances. The take on this has to be that heads will... There could be a few problems there for people within the AAU, and certainly for Ben, but hopefully not. But the upshot of it all has to be that the systems have to be right. We have to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Well, he's also been a high flyer, hasn't he, in a Black Hawk helicopter?
Well, Ben Tune is built for speed and he's built for danger, and here he combines his two passions. He's a man who's up for any challenge, and I'm sure in a week full of distractions, this was just one other, but he's a man who can cope with those sort of pressures.
Is there a sense of deja vu about this game for you?
For me, playing against South Africa, I always think about the World Cup semi-final. And as we got off the bus that day, Tiaan Strauss spoke to the team, and he basically said to us, he reminded us of the fact that they were the world champions, that they had what we wanted, and they weren't just going to give it up. Here it's the opposite. Australia are the world champions, and we have what they wanted. They can't win the World Cup this year, but they're on the road to there. They will start to get their feelings of satisfaction, their feelings of worth within their team from performances like this against Australia.
Well, a very interesting twist, but what did we learn about South Africa from Wellington last weekend?
Well, basically we learnt about South Africa what we already knew. Here we see the guy open running, but what you did know is the South Africans against the All Blacks were hard, they were uncompromising, they were very physical, and that's what they'll be again tonight. They got some sort of an ascendancy against the All Blacks early with that style of play, and they'll be aiming to do that again against the Wallabies tonight.
Yes, well, an excellent try there by Bernard Grief, which brought the Springboks back into the game. After the break, Simon Poitevin will take us through the two dressing rooms, and also we'll have our latest dare in Who Bears Wins, where Master Chef Owen Finnegan will cook a special treat for some surprise guests.
The pressure is really on. We're down here at Key Restaurant in Sydney, where John Chilvers and myself will don the chef's hat and cook a meal for some unsuspecting guests.
Okay guys, you're on. 6 duck roll orange. Okay, you've got 15 minutes to get it out. Let's go.
Well, cooking for the coach, he doesn't know that I'm in here at the moment, so If it's a bad meal and there's a chance he might drop me, I'll blame John here beside me.
Oh, God. Burn the sauce, jeez. Start again.
You remember to wash your hands, mate?
I don't know, mate. I can't remember. Did you?
I did. Service, please. Congratulations, John. We've done better than expected. The boys have licked their plate clean, and you've won your $5,000, mate.
Thank you for your help. Thanks to Bundy, mate. I've had a great time.
Australia, a capacity crowd in tonight as the Wallabies going through their final warm-ups. Ben Tune, he's been the man of the moment this week, looking for a big one tonight, his first home test in 3 years. Todai Kepu also a key figure. Well, there certainly has been a lot of talk about this game, the soft underbelly of the Australian forwards, the lack of physicality from the Aussie pack. Simon Poitevin, does that get your back up? Does it get up your nose?
Gordy, you don't become world champions with a dud forward pack, and the Australians have done extremely well in the past 10 years against the Springboks sides, all turned around in 1992 when the Springboks came back into World Rugby. Undoubtedly, historically, they outmuscled us, but this Australian pack is very well balanced, great tight five, very effective back row, and expect to see plenty of fire there tonight from this Springbok side. Here's the Springbok dressing room. They've had plenty of time in Brisbane over the past 3 weeks. They prepared here before going to South Africa. Lawrence Parker, who played the first 25 minutes of the game last week, extremely good player. Labuskakne getting his socks on there. He was an outstanding ball runner for the Springboks last week. The Australian dressing room, Ben Churn, very controversial week for him, but he'll go well tonight. Noriega, huge game for him. Brendan Cannon, the backup hooker, and here we go. Nathan Sharp, speaking to Ewan McKenzie, a huge game for Nathan Sharp against this Springbok side.
Thanks very much, Simon. Yes, well, the two sides line up with Australia having a decided edge in experience in the back line. Let's see how the Aussie team shapes up for tonight's game. It's an unchanged lineup from the side that went down to the All Blacks at Jade Stadium in Christchurch 2 weeks ago. And we start with the front row. And it's the tough guy. He's an expert scrummager, Bill Young, mine host at the Concord West Hotel. Jeremy Paul is the hooker, and Patricio Noriega from the Waratahs. The two locks are two of the fittest tight forwards in international rugby, Nathan Sharp and Justin Harrison. And it's the brute strength of Owen Finnegan and the agility of open side flanker George Smith, and the raw power too of Todai Kepu at number 8. George Gregan, his 76th cap tonight. That's 3 behind the world record at scrum half. Stephen Larkham at fly half, a milestone 50 caps. Daniel Herbert partnering Matthew Burke in the centre. Herbert inside, Matthew Burke outside. And a couple of very big wingers in Sterling Mortlock, his 14th cap from the Brumbies, and Ben Tune from the Queensland Reds. And Chris Latham, his 30th cap tonight also from the Queensland Reds. Very big back five for the Australians in their back line, and a decided edge in experience, as we mentioned. But the Springboks see their advantage up front with these guys. Lawrence Safaka, the loosehead prop, who left the field after 28 minutes last week. James Dalton and Van Rautenbach, who replaces Willie Meyer. And two massive locks. They average 113 kilos. Johannes Labuskakne and Victor Matfield. Corne Crick is the captain. Joe van Niekerk was the under-21 captain last year for South Africa. Bob Skinstad, a former Springbok skipper. Johannes Conradi, a lively scrum half, still inexperienced but forming a great partnership with Andre Pretorius, the playmaker, and two very aggressive centres, Devet Barry from the Stormers and his Stormers teammate Marius Joubert. And great to see Brayton Paulser back, the little left wing, 34th cap from the Stormers, joining Stefan Tablanche and Werner Cliff. Well, what a game he had last week against the All Blacks in Wellington, scoring that marvellous try and adding a lot of penetration from the back. So it's a splendid stadium, a lot of expectation here, the crowd enjoying it, the players to take the field on the other side of the break. Scene of the famous tied test in 1960 between Australia and the West Indies when Joe Solomon threw down the stumps to clinch the first tie in Test cricket history. That over 40 years ago. The Gabba has had 5 rugby tests, and Australia played New Zealand 3 times and the Lions twice, and the Wallabies have never won here. The last test before last year's Lions test was played in 1951 against New Zealand. But the capacity is around 37,000. They've added extra seats here, and we had a new ground attendance record for the Lions last year of 37,500. And you'd have to say, Simon Poitevin and Chris Handy, what a contrast from last year. 12 months ago, the Gabba was just a sea of red. Tonight, it's the opposite. It's all gold.
Yeah, got the planning right tonight. It was very imposing last year here for the Wallabies, but there's a very vocal, small number of South African supporters here making plenty of noise out there. Fantastic atmosphere.
And Chris Handy, it must have been fantastic to witness those 3 classic Wallabies from the 1939 team with the team this afternoon.
Good, and living treasures of the game, and it's really motivated the Wallaby team. But this is a passionate Springbok outfit as well, and they will give blood on this field tonight rather than go off in defeat. They'll be ready, and I'm just waiting for it. The crowd here at Fever Pitch, it's gold all around.
So there's Victor Matfield, and he's one of 2 very big locks. Corne Cricker, he's one of the real gentlemen of international rugby, an inspiring leader who really puts his body on the line. And although he felt the scoreboard was a little flattering last week in favour of New Zealand, he knows his side has to lift markedly, and he's very confident they can. These are the big tight forwards. Van Niekerk, the brilliant open side flanker. There's Conradi, who really has created a huge impression with Pretorius, and Brayton Polser from the Stormers, who is one of the real entertainers of the international game. So the Springboks arriving at the Gabba and playing on this ground for the first time in a test match. Previously it's been the domain of the New Zealand All Blacks and the Lions as far as visitors go, and Krief, last man out. What a spectacular performance he turned in last week. So South Africa will be backing themselves here tonight as we check out their lineup for this international, the opening Tri-Nations game in Australia. 2 changes to their side that went down to New Zealand. Tight head prop Rautenbach comes in for Billy Mayer. 67 caps only in the front 5. And in the back row, Tri-Nations certainly unused, a shooting star last weekend in Van Niekerk. The one change in the back line sees Polser in for injured Dean Hall on the left wing. Polser and to Blanche, the 2 most experienced backs. But you can see the ground surface is quite magnificent. Andre Pretorius, the playmaker, discovered at the World Cup Sevens last year. And the crowd watching the Wallabies come out from their dressing room on the big screen here. So it's very much an intimate involvement. And the Wallabies had their captain's run here at the Gabba on Matchee, and it's probably the best training run they've had since Eddie Jones took control after the end of the grand Rod McQueen era. Matt Rogers, will see him in the second half for sure. He's been training the house down, and of course this is the home of the Wallabies' major sponsor here in Queensland, Bundaberg Rum. And it really is a stirring occasion here as the Wallabies are out onto the field. Here's their lineup, an unchanged side from the loss to New Zealand in Christchurch. Just a skinny 59 Wallaby test caps in the front 5 forwards, but in the back row, Finnegan and Kethu are both closing on a half-century of tests. Regan plays his 76th test match, and Van der Westhuizen is the man who has 3 more as a scrum half. 50th test tonight for Stephen Larkham. All up, a massive 326 caps in the Wallaby backline. And Stephen Larkham, he's been targeted so many times by the Springboks. In his 8 internationals against the South African side, he's been on the winning team only twice. So they've been a bogey side. And remember, Australia did not beat South Africa last year, losing in Pretoria and drawing in Perth. So we're getting ready for the anthems now. Chris, you're very close to the action as the players line up. What's the atmosphere like at ground level?
There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of spite between these 2 teams. rugby over the last few years has been a little bit sanitised. I don't think you'll find that tonight. I think you'll find the old-fashioned version, very physical, very in your face. It'll start here at the anthem. There's calm before the storm. Look at that giant Springbok flag being carted up and down the field, and in comes the Wallaby. And this crowd is on fire. They've been preparing for this here in Queensland next year. 12 test matches. This, the only one of 2002, and it's a beauty.
And Buddha, the real challenge for both sides tonight, Steve Land, a very strict referee from England. They'll have to behave at the breakdown.
We talked to him. He's going to have fun, so hopefully that means a great game.
So now we have the South African anthem sung by Tommy.
Sound the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
James Blundell now to perform the Australian anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth and toil, down is good I see. Our land abounds in nature's gift of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia
And we welcome Adelaide viewers with the news that it's a capacity crowd here at the Gabba. Australia has never won a test match at this ground. 5 previous games have gone to New Zealand and the Lions, and the 2 reserve benches, well, all eyes will be on Matt Rogers, number 22, David Lyons, who's been a real impact player, and in the Springboks, Ollie LaRue was on early last week. Jacobs and Brent Russell, number 22. He's small, but he is dynamic. There's our referee for tonight's game, Steve Lander, leading whistler from England, and he'll have a Kiwi panel to assist him. Paddy O'Brien and Paul Honus, and Steve Walsh will be the video referee. This is James Blundell singing the old Aussie bush ballads.
And a great Aussie icon himself, James Blundell, is very welcome at this ground. Hugely popular.
And he sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. You'll come, waltz, sing Matilda with me. Waltz, sing Matilda, waltz, sing Matilda. You'll come, waltz,
Well, there's plenty of wallabies there. Where's the jolly jumbuck? We see the cockerel at Stade de France. Maybe one day we will see our jolly jumbuck. But we're just about in readiness now. And Steve Lander just speaking to both captains, Corné Krika and George Gregan. So both of these sides have had an opening loss in Tri-Nations to the New Zealand All Blacks. The All Blacks to play the Wallabies next weekend at Stadium Australia.
Yes, mate, loud and clear. Thanks very much.
This is Andre Pretorius wearing gloves, as are quite a number of the South African backs.
Just a couple of seconds. Okay, we're ready. Wait for me, please.
This is also a famous cricket ground, the cricket pitch area, very hard.
Yeah, wait, I'll be out your way. You ready, Paul? Wait for me.
James Dalton has been singled out by Eddie Jones for infringing at breakdowns. Australia versus South Africa in 2002 at the Gabba. Very good kick there by Ben Tune. Clear follows. And the ball going out on the full. So some very accurate kicking there by Ben Tune, and not so from number 15, South Africa.
Yeah, points decision, Ben Tune there. Certainly they'll be targeted by the Springboks tonight. Been no amount of talk about him during the week.
Great to see them load him up with some pressure, but Cherny, go you, good thing.
Nathan Sharp on the line out. Good line here for Australia. Torai Kefu is slammed to ground. Gregan. Larkham goes open. Latham chasing. Conradi is there, so is Pulsar. And he showed a lot of composure to allow that ball to bounce over the touchline.
Great tactical kick by Steve Larkham. You'll see him mix up the game a bit more, this year, and watch the head air on Kefu. Fullback Krief in on that one as well. But this line out, first one for the Australians worked well. Springboks went well last week against the All Blacks. Pretty even tussle there.
Well, that should loosen the wax in Kefu's ears. The vet Barry, and also Krief with a double banger. Pretorius.
Great pressure from the Wallabies. See, immediately the ball was tapped off the line of touch. The Wallaby back row just advancing, and Krief received the ball very deep in his in goal. Immediately a points decision to the Wallabies. Now this has to be good.
Little knock on by Dalton, but very good defensive line out there from the South Africans.
Well, Matfield and Labuschagne did particularly well last week against the All Blacks. Won a number of the All Black throws. Mark Hammond had a pretty tough night over there.
And don't let those figures deter you from the fact that this South African scrum is very competitive, and they think that the Aussie pack are pussies and they're going to have a go at them.
So Larkham working in close. Nice variation for Gregan. This is Tune, and he's there. What a brilliant move from the Wallaby backs. Sensationally worked try. And Ben Tune answers his critics in the best possible manner.
Fairy tale stuff from the Wallabies. Ben Tune straight in the action. Second time he's touched the ball. Gregan gets left alone. It was a move to bring Latham into the back line, and Gregan took it. Look at Tune go. Over!
Well, this try is all about deception. It was Latham taking the inside, Burke taking the dummy inside, and George Gregan running like Mark Ella. Ben Tune so powerful, Pretorius no chance, and to Blanche, they just can't stop him. But George Gregan, fantastic timing on the run round.
Well, people have been saying, Buddha, that George should be running more. He's also answered those calls with a beautiful bit of deception.
And the Wallaby bench went up as one when Ben Tune got over.
Matthew Burke with a caressing stroke of the ball, and that's a dynamic start for the Wallabies. 7-0 after just 4 minutes.
Springboks last week against the All Blacks, so pumped emotionally for the first 30 or 40 minutes. This will take the bit of slowing down from now. The Australians well and truly on attack.
The Wallabies, though, Simon, have jumped out of the blocks early in all their matches so far this season. Got to about 13 points. on 3 occasions and stopped dead. This time they've got to go on with the job. South Africa have got other things in mind for them.
So it's a well-weighted kick, and sharp is hammered. Cricket coming through. Mortlock, brilliantly picked up by Herbert. Advantage over.
Advantage! Twice back feet, get behind the back feet.
So Bob Skinstad, the man penalised in midfield, number 8.
You never have any problems hearing Steve Lander blow the whistle. He really gives it a big nudge. Dunedin last year. Big impression over there, but there's no doubt that the Springboks at the breakdown, they're clean out, very, very aggressive. That's where they've got to protect the ball for George Gregan Knight as Skinstad.
They did a superb job on the All Blacks early. Their double team tackling was sensational, and their locks of Matfield and Labuschagne really carted the ball forward. To date, they haven't got enough possession to do that.
Well, they really haven't had any possession, have they? Just the one kick from Clear was a mistake, a costly one, and Australia hasn't looked back. Taken away by Finnegan. Kefu. 10-metre line, South African territory. So Stephen Larkham, 3 up underneath. And the mark is paid.
Well, he's got to take the kick from where he called the mark. He had drifted off to looking for a AFL play-on situation, and Steve Landers called him back.
Well, he's unloaded with this one. 10-metre line, Chris Latham. Takes them on. And well read there by Barry. Still inside South Africa's half.
You're straight on top of him. He has to be allowed to play the ball.
He does lean on the whistle, doesn't he? Leaves you in no doubt, Steve Lander. Suntanned after this week in Brisbane.
Well, there's a part of the game he really concentrates on. That's the breakdown, slowing it down, and you're gone.
So it was against Van Niekerk, and Australia's kicking for touch here.
Well, Van Niekerk's an outstanding talent. He's very good at the breakdown, and it's that fine line. George Smith will compete all night with him there. He's got the gloves on, and really, if he thinks he can get his hands on the ball, wonderful back rower's body. Lean and hungry he is.
Okay, there we go.
So it's 18 metres out from the Springbok goal line. Paul goes to the middle. Pinched by Matfield. Turnover in the line out there from the Australian throw. And Conradi now with a good searching kick up the touchline, and pressure is relieved to the 10-metre line. Well done, Conradi.
It looks like a mirror image, doesn't it? It looks like George Gregan looking himself in the mirror. And these two, he bases his game on that of George Gregan. A lot of respect.
Owen Finnegan. Paul on the loop. Straight through. Poor defence. Tackled by Van Niekerk from behind. Finnegan again. Wallabies rampant. Sharp. Gregan now. Larkham on the right. Herbert slipped the tackle, and a decoy runner there in front of the man.
And that was exactly what was called. It wasn't intentional, but the ball drifted a little wide and Matt Burke overrun it. And that is obstruction, quite clearly.
Going back to the line out, good tactics from the Wallabies, going short to Owen Finnegan. But the money ball provided Jeremy Paul with a sweep around. He has got a lot of pace, Jeremy Paul.
George,
and that did surprise the Springbok players. Victorious, outstanding last week against the All Blacks.
It's good to see the Wallaby forwards seeing a gap and going straight forward. Not going sideways, not looking for the man to hand off, but taking the responsibility and carting it up as far as they can before breaking down.
Well, the variation is worrying the Springboks. The Wallabies are finding gaps, they are creating gaps, and it's rattled the South African team.
Clear ball, pulling down.
On that occasion, the rolling maul there from the Springboks was pulled down, in the referee's opinion, by the Australian players. Owen Finnegan, first one in there, but you can't have a rolling maul and a player pulling it down.
Well, they're saying with only one man in, they're trying to make that a tackle rather than pulling down, but there you go. And they've got the advantage. 2 big kicks up the touchline, and immediately they're into striking position.
Numbers, please, go.
It's an interesting one because if the tackler is there by himself, there's no more form. But the other point is that it's dangerous play if you do pull the ball down like that, pull them all down. There's Skinstad at the front doing the New Zealand ploy, and this time the referee gets it because it didn't go in 5 metres.
Well, last week in New Zealand was marginal.
You only get usually one time in a game to work it, and that time Chris Latham, I know, was Bill Young there at the front. They didn't know it was coming front.
Well, South Africa just out of sorts in the early stages. Wallabies have the points on the board. Here's Larkham. James Dalton was the tackler,
and he was on the wrong side.
Number 2, clear tackle, coming in from the wrong side. Come round.
Eddie Jones, pre-game, nominated this player, James Dalton, as one of the great perpetrators of penalties around the rucks and mauls, and he's been picked up by one for Steve Lander.
He believed he was part of the tackle and therefore was entitled to stay where he was, but Steve Lander immediately put out his arm, showing advantage.
Well, I agree with James Dalton there. I think he was one of the tacklers and therefore entitled to pick the ball up from that position.
Very passionate player, James Dalton. Inspiring.
See Gregan having a problem with people leaning through. You can't become unattached.
Big step across and push.
This is what they did in New Zealand last week. They closed that gap in the line out.
That's why you got it clear.
Really contesting down the middle. And all Steve Lander has to do is to keep that big gap in the middle of the line out, insist on it, and both teams will get their own ball.
Well, it's time for Cornet Cricket to speak to his side because they're committing infringements here.
15 halfway.
And
thank you.
Unless something's done, unless the discipline is instilled, they're going to find themselves in big trouble in this first quarter. Not only did they close the gap in the line out, they used the shoulder as well. That's why the penalty was awarded instead of a free kick.
Well, this is a day Chris Latham wants to make a difference here at the Gabba.
Harrison got a hand on it. Knock on by Larkham.
In fact, it was Ben Choon coming, I think, into first receiver. And the ball dropped in front.
A few difficult passes coming in this game so far for the Wallabies, and that comes from pressure from the Springboks at the breakdown.
Coaching hold.
Ralph and Buck on this side, opposed to Bill Young.
The scrum.
Owen Finnegan packing as an open side flanker.
Number 1, in, push straight. Number 1.
Interesting call from over the far side from Steve Lander about Bill Young pushing in.
The last scrum where you put it in your side, find the middle.
The Springbok scrum packing on the angle. That's one you'd consider they've milked from the Wallabies.
So 6 penalties in the first 12 minutes. At that rate, we'll finish up with about 40 for the game. Labuschagne and Skinstad able to pull that one down. 10-metre line Australian territory. Pretorius. Barry straight into Herbert. Assisted by Larkham. They force him back. But Barry slipped the ball away. Now Dalton. Harrison the tackler. Panika just over halfway. Very physical at the breakdown. Pretorius. This is Joubert. What a run. Just caught by Bill Young. Promising build-up here from South Africa. Labuschagne.
Play the ball.
Australia slowing it down. South Africa's best passage of play so far.
Labuschagne, as he did last week against the All Blacks, making big territory through the Australian defence.
Australian defence was hanging off, marked up, and this was a beautiful move to bring the man back on the inside. It was great work. Straighten got away from the prop forward in cover, and that was the problem. Difficult in behind.
So, Chris, it's 7-0 to Australia in the 14th minute.
Come out this way, please.
Pretorius placing this ball. The about 16 or 17 metres in from the far touch. And conditions pretty still here. Andre Pretorius lines up his first shot at goal. Made his debut against the Welsh in Bloemfontein this year. Height size at 78 kilos. No problem with the distance. And the gap is down to 4 points. So that's a terrific reply there from Andre Pretorius, a real morale booster after Australia has been dominant in the opening 15 minutes.
Let's hope with that penalty count mounting out there, both sides take caution from the way this referee applies himself. Very much no latitude. We'll follow the IRB regulations to the minute detail.
Well, there's huge support at this ground. A huge sign behind the post greeted that kick. The Emerald Rams all the way here. Great support group.
And that kick coming off the side and gaining only about 10 metres. That was a problem last week against New Zealand as well, and the All Blacks getting a late penalty before half-time.
It's interesting with the Springboks on that occasion. Last week they really counter-attacked so much. They do have a healthy respect for this Australian defence.
Kefu standing out in the centres here.
Go on!
Nathan Sharp. Gregan goes in. Mortlocker's first receiver. Noriega there right behind him.
Offside two. Offside.
Referee spotted some offside. Playing advantage.
Two green, back feet.
James
You were never
Dalton.
onside. Come from behind the back feet.
Who at times can be a serial offender.
He was never onside.
Great work by the Wallabies. That drive presents a ball that James Dalton thought had come out of the ruck. It hadn't. And he pounced on George Gregan.
Well, now Matthew Burke is going to line up here and try and increase the lead to 7 points. It's 7-3 Australia. Test matches that he's been the goal kicker, he's averaged 16 points per international. He's hitting them well tonight, but that one hit the upright and almost a try there for Dan Herbert. This is skin stats. Offloading to Van Niekerk, Safaka. Mortlock palmed off. Good counter here from the Springboks. Pretorius now. Space here for Macfield. And he was certainly gang tackled by 3 Wallabies. Ben Toon was out there.
Leave it there. Leave it go.
Ben Toon, a very strong man. He can bench press more than some of the Aussie forwards.
Clear rock.
A clear direction there from the referee. They can't really complain about that. Tremendous defence on Matfield, but then the hands were all over the ball. The referee told them to remove them. They didn't.
Great work from the Springboks. To recover from a ball bouncing off the pace is one thing, but to also cart it forward and to move the ball wide and pick up a big lock forward having a run. That shows that this side is on the move.
Tell him I will.
So an injury here for Victor Matfield, and Cornet Cricker also inconvenienced. Australia ahead by 7-3. Well, Chris, there has been some bone-jarring tackling, and Cricker here looks quite distressed. Let's have a look at it again.
I think it's a stomach injury. He's really been hit, probably the hip. That was the right cross on Sterling Mortlock, who was felled by Lawrence Safaka. There's a great pen that may have had a bit more in it. But they mean business out there tonight, and a wry smile on Sterling Mortlock's face.
But when you're in the boxing ring, that's a sure sign it hurt you, isn't it?
Well, it's Commonwealth Games, Sevens covering it, and they've got it here. It's not only rugby, but there's boxing, wrestling, and the lot.
That ice up around the sternum of Cornet Cricker. Fabulous defender.
Andre Skoltz is warming up. Possible blood bin replacement, but Cricker's back up.
Yes, there he is.
Hands in the
Hendro
right.
Scholz, desperate to get on for his test debut. So close. His opportunity may come. But really, you'd have to say South Africa must be reasonably pleased with the situation at the moment. They're down 7-3. Australia hasn't converted a lot of its dominance and pressure onto the scoreboard. And now an attacking line-out for the box.
I think it's time, and I'm sure Rudolph Stroily in the coach's box thinks so, for the Springboks to get some rhythm.
So great work at the front there by Skinstad. That's Labuschagne into Harrison. Dalton makes 5 metres. Conradi comes in. Mikefu's not bound there. He's got to stay behind the last feet. Tulsa backing up here to Blanche. Charged down and off the arm there of Mortlock.
Smashed in the tackle.
Matthew Burke in onto Blanche. That's pretty poor play from the Springboks.
I think held up a little long, do you think, by Pretorius, Simon? And that ball then slung, and he's got hammered by Burke.
Pretorius is a great individual runner. He should try and test this Wallaby defence.
He did it earlier against the All Blacks last week, and it paid dividends. He was able to bring Werner Krief into the game.
Kefu. Smith. Brought down by Van Niekerk. That's sharp. Good pick and drive from him. 37 metres out. Here's Larkham. Step from Burke. Joubert was the tackler. Into space again for the Wallabies. Latham. Joubert again. Missed him. Sterling Mortlock. Poor defence, South Africa. Second try, Australia.
Well, these big Wallaby backs have about 8 kilos per man on their Springbok opponents, and it showed through this phase of play. Great try by Sterling Mortlock in the end, but fantastic lead up by Latham. George Garikin's doing a superb job getting the ball cleared. Long pass there from Steve Larkham gave Latham the room. Poor defence. And Krief, who's done a pretty good job in defence there. A real big miss there on Mortlock.
Mortlock took a knockout punch from Lawrence Safaka in defence, and now he's struck one of his own. From 22 metres out, he closes on the line. Go, you good thing.
And what about Chris Latham here? He's the man who really stood up the South African defence, and it was missed by Van Niekerk.
When they come back inside, they were shot to pieces as Matt Burke slops another one.
Just a turnaround, the poor pass by Pretorius back on the 25 Australian territory. Now it's led to the Wallaby try, 14-3, good lead.
Shoulder behind you, please.
5 missed tackles from the Springboks in this game to date. Bobby Skinstad doing a great job in the lineouts.
Nathan Sharp with Aussie rules aerial skills. Larkham and Smith.
Advantage.
Referee's playing advantage here.
Still advantage.
There's Matthew Burke. And I think the ball was actually...
Please come here.
I think the ball was actually tapped down deliberately forward by Bob Skinstad.
We've got players on the edge of the breakdown. Yep. 2 penalties against you. 2 against number 2. If the same players persist in infringing, I'll have to go to yellow card. You need to, but more discipline. Come from the ball. Yeah, but come from behind the back feet. But I'm in the mauler. No, come from behind the back feet or bind on. Thank you.
Yeah, he wants him to bind on. He can't just stand in the maul and knock the ball down. And that was a complaint by Eddie Jones through the press this week. James Dalton and Bob Skinstad. Jones didn't mention the players, but everyone knew who he was talking about. And they've both been multiple offenders here tonight.
And although that kick from Matt Burke was a good one, he comes back for the advantage, Steve Landers, because the Wallabies get the throw into this line-out. And that's an important one at this time in the game. They've turned the box around, and now they can do another attacking onslaught. They'll probably use the ball wide.
Count green, count green.
Up the back for Sharp. Matfield got a hand on it. This is Clear. Barry. Joubert wrapped up by Burke. Oh, that's great defence from the Australian outside centre. What anticipation.
Springboks just getting no traction at all in attack. Being hammered by the very, very aggressive Wallaby defence.
They're identifying their man and then just aiming up. Burke just comes straight at him. Don't take a sideways step, just go straight to the man. Stay down.
Kefu from the back. Here's Herbert on the angle. Cornet Cricker wraps him up. Kefu drove in from behind.
Slips on that cricket pitch area. It's a little bit skiddy under feet.
Tester from Larkham. Mortlock's there. Shocking bounce for South Africa, but a goodie for Australia. And the first knock on by the South Africans.
2 knock-ons.
Smith right on the shoulder. Just couldn't turn that pass into goal. But what a ball. It went high. It went in behind Stefan Tablanche. And that one coming off the forehead of Jeremy Paul.
A huge hit there on Jeremy Paul by the vet Barry.
South Africa a little unlucky there. I thought the ball was lost backward, then bounced forward. Here's Latham. He was the first receiver. Gregan wanted quick ball. Harrison.
You hear the hammer call there from George Gregan.
That's Finnegan. It's only 8 metres out here. Noriega with good body height. Now Larkham. Herberts. Smashed there by Cricker and Matfield. Goal line ahead here for Gregan. Here's Latham. There it is, number 3. Simple overlap. Chris Latham in his hometown is on fire.
Chris Latham, thank you, Daniel Herbert. Daniel Herbert, fantastic ability to get the ball back. They're hit by 3 Springbok defenders. Didn't land the wrong side, but got the ball back. And Larkham, who's doing a great job. There it is. Gets the ball back, and then it all starts from here.
Tune, Mortlock, now Latham. Skill at pace, out wide. The Boks have got no answer.
And what about George Gregan too, Simon? His reading of the play, his vision there with Stephen Larkham. They've exposed South Africa out wide, and they've done it so easily.
Well, huge contrast in conditions to the last game the Wallabies played in the Arctic Christchurch. Enjoying the ability to throw the ball around tonight.
So this to make it 21 points to 3. 3 out of 3 for Matthew Burke.
Yes, please, when you're ready now.
Cornet Cricker's very simple instruction to his team is get quality ball, otherwise got no chance against this Australian side.
And there's Sharp again, showing his dexterity and athleticism with the restart. Here's Latham. That's a grand tackle by Joubert. Smith for Australia. Australia protected well, just outside their quarter.
Green hands on the ground again.
Hands off, Green.
He yelled it out early. You could see the Wallabies
Clear run.
wanting it.
No, you did not. Don't have the ball in your hands.
The captain at fault.
Well, the Wallabies giving the Springboks a football lesson here. And it's been the ability to get quick ball to the back line. And then these very big 3-quarters and fullback Chris Latham have had a picnic.
And the big crowd at the Wallaby end of the field are disappointed. Everything's being scored away from them. But I'm sure they're just delighted to see their team playing it out, unlike last time they were here.
Count Green.
Wallabies have been ruthless here tonight. Here's Gregan. And Mortlock steaming onto it. 7 or 8 metres over the advantage line. Now Paul. Herberts. South Africa's defence at 6s and 7s here. Finnegan. Look at the hands for Sharp.
His first Test try.
I don't know if he thinks it's a try. He's certainly not ecstatic. I think Nathan Sharp's body language is saying no try.
Steve, can you hear me?
Maybe he's just a modest young footballer, Chris.
Yeah, maybe you're right. He's been really involved. What a great pass. He made that foot has gone out. Unfortunately, no try. And the foot was out first. That's pretty clear indication. But great. He reaches forward. He has some skills, this young bloke. And he has a Springbok hand on him. The foot goes into touch. Then the ball hits the arm hits the post before the ball goes down.
Great cover from Newkirk. But Owen Finnegan's having a huge game in the back row for the Wallabies, as is George Smith tonight.
Thank you.
Line out.
It's offside. Penalty.
Well, Simon, I'm sure that can be embellished by Nathan Sharp to his grandchildren. He's only playing in his 4th Test match, but playing with a lot of skill and maturity here tonight.
Yeah, very proud Queenslander too. Loves being here at the Gabba.
Although he was raised in Wagga Wagga. So a shot here for Australia in the 29th minute.
Yeah.
Wallabies 21-3.
Okay, no, cheers.
Well, Matthew Burke injured in that last play, and they just checked on that knee. It is strapped before he goes to take the kick, but that's a sign of confidence as he strolls up to the mark. Of course, Sterling Mordlock in the side, very capable of taking any kicks, and Stephen Larkham, I suppose.
Burke is striking the ball so brilliantly tonight. This is another 3 points on offer, although he's very close to that far touchline.
Well, the Wallabies saw the Lions explode here last year in the first half.
As we look at the AXA angle here for Matthew Burke, and from this side of the field, in the Tri-Nations so far, he has a 100% record. It's quite an angle, and the clearance just over 35 metres.
Look at that, 3.9 metres to get the ball in, but because he brings it around the corner on the angle, it makes that bigger. Let's see how he goes.
And that's an Andrew Mertens-like kick. It started out to the left and had a bit of a fade on it. So the Wallabies with a commanding 21-point lead inside the first 30 minutes. Well, South Africa haven't been allowed to get into this game. Their big forwards haven't been able to play the way they've wanted to. Australia has moved the ball very cleverly. And the athletic, tight Australian forwards have done a terrific job.
Nathan Sharp's hand got pulled down.
Gregan's gone up the touchline. Australia can do no wrong at the moment. They had the ball on a piece of string.
Referee played wonderful advantage there. He put his arm out for Sharp being pulled away from it at the top of the jump.
Come, go, please, come.
But no conservative game plan here for the Springboks. They now have to run almost every bit of ball they have within. That's 22 and out.
Skin stats.
That's okay.
And that's James Dalton.
Get away, go! Get away!
Finnegan cleaned out of the way.
Great stuff on the ground.
Here's Joubert. Oh, that was risky, but it came off. And now to Blanche. Larkham across. Latham underneath. On the quarter. And he calls for the mark, which you can do inside your quarter.
This then becomes a free kick. So if they kick directly into touch, it is the opposition's throw-in, but I think Latham will settle things down and go for touch.
Let me referee, please.
The Wallabies were forced to change the names of their moves when Tim Lane moved to South Africa last year. Tim Lane, the assistant coach, the former World Cup winning assistant coach for the Wallabies in '99.
Yeah, he threw them off as well. I think he used the same names for the Springbok moves, and they were astounded hearing their calls being called back at it, meaning different things.
Good throw by Dalton, taken by Matfield. Lavascutney has a crack at Smith. Safaka. Can South Africa retain possession here? Pretorius. Barry. Tulsa. He knows where the goal line is. Mortlock coming through there to spoil. Conradi. Off he goes. Can he get it inside? Well, Latham played the ball off his feet there.
He was the tackler, but he wasn't back on his feet, I don't think.
So he was lucky not to be penalised.
I think Paddy O'Brien, what's this wonderful work here by Conradi?
He is
Larkham
slippery.
just gets there, brings him down now. This is very interesting. The ball now comes over the sideline. It certainly was Latham who took it across. Larkham was Latham, I should say.
So there's Kepu. Australia going for the throw over the back, just out from their goal line. That was South Africa's chance to hit back. But now they're back on their heels. This is Pulsar and Clearth. He's weighted that one nicely. That's Latham. Oh, he was taken in the air. That's dangerous play by Clearth. It's a legal play, and it should be a caution. This is the flare-up we anticipated.
Well, Van Rautenbach going on with it afterwards. Number 3 for the Springboks. It was unnecessary. Latham hit late. And it is on.
Very ugly. Paddy O'Brien's got his flag out.
Well, there's plenty to sort out here.
Jeremy Paul threw a couple of right uppercuts on Rautenbach.
Well, after the referee blows his whistle, you take the law into your own hands. But there to these times, Van Rautenbach, number 3, in camera, may have something to answer for, but anyone who goes on with it is playing with fire.
Well, there should be some time in the sin bin here for one or two players.
Move away. Move away. I want to see what happens.
Cornet Creek is saying, I've got blood. That just means he didn't move out of the way quickly enough.
Everything was fine. Then Bobby Skinner said, come and go, someone push in the back, right?
Yes.
Started.
Yep.
I can only then report on the foul play in the end.
Yep.
Number 5, Australia,
yes.
Very seriously, continuing completely. 7 or 8 flurry of punches.
Yes.
Number 2, gold, the same.
Yep. Yes.
I got 2 from my side as well as 5. The original infringement was for 15 attacking the player in the ear.
Yes.
That's what started it.
Yes.
Then number 8 came in, and there was nothing in it, and it just carried on from there.
Okay. Okay.
Snowball effect.
Recommendation for what you saw over there, please.
Number 2, gold, and number 5, gold, definitely in the bin.
Yes.
What they did there, in my view.
Correct.
Okay.
I agree with
and
them.
on this side, 15 and 8 in the bin.
No, I wouldn't put 8 in the bin. I'm telling you what happened with 8. 8
Yes.
come in, Giovanni was to stop play, 8 pushed in the back. That started it all.
Yep.
Call on that.
Yep.
Push it back.
Any other serious foul play?
Well, the original one was attacking in the ear.
Yes.
15 green, attack that player in the ear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yellow card.
That basically started it. I think
Okay.
that's the instigator. I would take it from there. Yep.
Tell me again yours.
2 and 5.
2 and 5 in the bin.
Looks like 2 Aussies in the bin.
And the guy was held by 2 or 3.
No worse than anybody else. No red cards. Did you see anything worthy of a red card?
No, all I'll say, 5 continued his flurry of punches and kept going. Absolutely kept
No
going.
more than anybody else.
He was the main guy over here.
Okay. Gold captain, please.
Paddy O'Brien. Well, this can change the
Number
game.
5 and number 2, please.
And as I said, after the whistle, if you continue on, that's
Wait,
a problem. Even though
5
somebody
and 2.
blows it up by starting it.
Okay. Touch this report on you two. A flurry of punches. You kept it going when you could have stopped. Both these players are going in the bin. I'm going to deal with those in a minute, okay? The original penalty is coming back for you for the high tackle in the air, which you started it. So that's you, and you're in the bin.
So 2 Aussies in the bin.
Captain, please.
And Bernard Clearth, I'm sure, will finish up there as well for that dangerous
15, please.
tackle.
Bobby Skinstead a big laugh when
you took him in the air,
you see what's
which
happened
caused
here.
all of that, okay, unnecessarily. You're going as well in the bin. Penalties against you, your side started it.
7 minutes 48 remaining on the clock as 3 players go to the bin. And if that's not a clear indication to settle down, I don't know what is. That one there hit Chris Latham right up in the crutch. He got a shoulder right where it hurts. And then it started. It was firstly a push by Dalton and Skinstad. It had basically finished and then it went on. Van Rautenbach came in. Skinstad gets called back. And there you watch Justin Harrison and also Jeremy Paul continued on. Firstly by Paul, then by Justin Harrison, and probably deserved the bin.
That's something like you'd see at an African game park, that Harrison and Paul carrying on there, onto their man.
Well, it's given South Africa a little bit of breathing space in the face of this onslaught from the Wallabies, who scored 3 converted tries and a penalty.
Well, this is a massive reorganisation by the Wallabies now. They're missing a lock forward and a line-out jumper and their main thrower. Brendan Kennan is obviously going to come on and replace, I think, George Smith to get a thrower on the field. He's waiting on the sideline.
The referee's saying
they
no
can't
scrum,
take a scrum.
Who's the next best thrower there? Looks like Kefu's going to throw the ball in.
Well, this will be a very simple throw.
A quick throw and pinch by Matfield. Dalton behind Skinstad. And here we've got Scots on the field as well.
We saw the All Blacks stand up when one of their players was binned in Christchurch, now to the Wallabies. 6 minutes before half-time.
Here's Pretorius.
Go on.
And driven back in the tackle by the Aussies, Finnegan. But South Africa needing a try here. They have an extra man. Van Niekerk, Joubert. Smith across. Latham was there. So too Ben Tune.
Well, good result, but they need Brendan Kennan on as soon as possible because Kef having real problems with this throw-in.
You're not going to be able to get him on, I think. Good work by the South Africans. The Springboks stretched that defence, but they were up to it. Latham, Tune and Smith.
Against Labuschagne for just charging across and shouldering the man out.
That's twice. Victor Matfield in picture. In that big headgear and that forearm very heavily bandaged.
This is a sensible move. George Gregan going to scrum.
Yep.
No. Yes, scrum. Bring Cannon on. George Smith off. Having no success, Tode Kefu getting the ball in the line out, so George Smith a bit of a rest.
Now Brendan Cannon plays for the Waratahs, but he was raised in Brisbane, started his rugby in the under-7s at Souths.
And watched a lot of cricket here at this ground. I don't know if that prepares you to be hooker against the Springboks, but great competitor. Trapped in a car smash on the Story Bridge way back, nearly took his life. Now he's in a train smash.
Well, this is elementary stuff from South Africa, not staying bound in the scrum as it wheeled round.
Well, time ticks away. They're really wasting a huge opportunity.
Keep it going, please. They're really pumped, the Springboks, and they're just too eager to get on with the game, knowing the Wallabies are too short. Some subtle delaying tactics, just taking all the time they're allowed. Settle things down. Now they've got a decision to make, the line out. Cannon's the thrower. Readjustment of jumpers, maybe Finnegan the option.
It's interesting going back to the big run ball. Owen Finnegan did a great job on slowing Bobby Skinstad down in a huge headlock.
And that's the play, isn't it, Simon? You just grab somebody, wrap them up and say, I'm trying to stop it, ref.
And again, there is no gap in the line out. So the referee is going to police it here. You can't close the gap on the defending side until the ball's thrown in, and you have to be jumping for the ball as well. So
Great work by Sharp.
And the referee's intervention worked well. Here's Tune.
Let it go, Green, no hands.
Brendan Cannon. Well, he certainly hasn't had a lot of match practice, but he'll relish this opportunity. Here's Herbert. Taken by Scholz.
Hasn't he done well at the inside centre spot and really focused down to go forward?
Noriega. Bill Young is there.
Wait there.
And Larkham to pulse up. Thought about a mark, but he's going to counter here, and he'll be dangerous. This is Joubert and Skinstad. Some good territory here for the Boks. 8 from halfway. Latham telling Larkham to go back to fullback. Mistake there by Conradi. The ball was lost ahead. Gregan now. Latham's with him. That was Sterling Mortlock, in fact. Now Larkham again. And this is Conradi. Stephen Larkham.
Field
Kicked
goal.
a drop goal against South Africa in the World Cup semi-final. This one ain't got the legs. Now it's Stephen de Blanche. He looked for open territory and Larkham again.
Pretty ordinary play to Blanche. 13 against 14. Run it.
And this is suiting the Wallabies just to take up a bit of time, but if they break out the Springboks...
Well, Paulser will take him on. And look at that tackle. Paulser loops around. There's still an overlap. And space for South Africa. Pretorius. A bad pass to Skinstad. Opportunity missed there. South Africa will want to keep this ball alive now.
They haven't been able to take their opportunities, the Springboks. Bad passing, and I think it's awareness of this aggressive defence of the Wallabies that's distracting them.
Well, there's another overlap here. Here they go. This is Joubert. Full back to beat. Off he goes. Brilliant work by Joubert. He's outspent them. Classic try by the young centre. Badly needed by the Springboks with their fullback still with 5 minutes in the bin.
Well, we've seen Werner Graf do it against the All Blacks. When they get into space, these young South African backs have some confidence. It was great width. The Wallabies were buggered. They'd been marking up, and then the break came. He looked to go outside and took Latham on. It's a clear sprint to the line, and he's beaten Latham for speed. Great try.
Well, Marius Joubert had a intercept try against the All Blacks last week, and watch him go. He's got Blanche on the inside here, so it's very, very tough. Even if he gets tackled, for Latham to do anything at all about it. This is what the Springboks need to do. They had plenty of territory out there. They have to run the ball, and there we see Pretorius drop kick, gets the 2 points.
What a wonderful game so far. Just great thrust. When the Springboks have had the advantage, they've been able to capitalise. Look at that young man. Great potential and finding some of it in that try.
And Buddha, it took Brayton Paulser to instigate that try, attacking from his own goal line. He's sharp. Gee, he's shown some amazing fingertip control tonight. Ball just rolling ahead. Dalton through. Van Niekerk, the referee spotted a penalty.
That's 4 times now that same penalty for coming through. It's got to be very close to a yellow card. He said last time 2 and 2.
Number 5.
Well, what a waste for the South Africans after pulling it back to 14 points. The hoot is gone. And they've conceded a penalty here, and with Burke in such immaculate form.
Well, the player on the ground leaving it alone and being taken out. Gregan again.
And it's a very similar angle to his previous success. Just this side of the 5-metre line. As we get the AXA perspective, this time 37, not 39 metres, but another acute angle. Let's see if he'll start it to the left of the post and then get that little fade back to the right again. It's been like clockwork. Matthew Burke pulls 3 back, and the Wallabies in total control, although 2 men down as we go in at half-time. At the break, Australia 27, South Africa 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, an awesome first half display by the big Wallaby backs. They've been getting terrific ball from their forwards. And Chris Latham coming back to his very best form. Ben Tune getting a try. Mortlock there as well. So Latham, Mortlock and Tune, the 3 big outside backs. Matthew Burke's been in magnificent goal-kicking form, and Joubert getting that try just before the break. Now let's look at the match stats. And the penalties going Australia's way. So discipline has really let down the South African team. And looking at the other page, the one here that has also been their downfall has been the tackle completion. They have missed 9 tackles to Australia's 1. So let's now analyse proceedings in that first half with former Wallaby flanker Gary Pearce.
The Wallabies are really varying their play tonight. In this case, they've been able to commit Devet Barry to come in, and in this case send out Joubert out wide. And that's where we've been able to get Gregan to come around the outside to spot the gap. So they really have got him guessing, and as Gregan's gone through the gap with plenty of gold jerseys onto it, what better first try scorer than Ben Tune? But really it also starts in the forwards, and what we find here is more variation. Here we've got Paul who throws it in, takes the halfback position, commits everybody, gets into traffic, and straight away what he does is he straightens up, and everyone knows where he's going. He's got plenty of Wallabies behind him to get over the advantage line and give them some room. Now there's a bit of foul play occurring here. This case Skinstad's been a bit of a joker around the paddock, and here he's come around the edge and put his arm out, as has Dalton, and they're both on 2 warnings, so there could be a yellow card coming from them. But what better way for the Wallabies to really show them a variation again. Finnegan normally does this inside flick off Gregan, which commits some of the inside defence, and again it's that wide flat ball, plenty of players committed, and that extra man coming up and coming to take the gap and go over. Great Wallaby skills.
Yes, so that's the half-time score here at the Gabba. Australia 27, leading South Africa 10. And straight after the rugby, live Commonwealth Games action. And we have Jana Pittman going round in the 400 hurdles and Tamsin Lewis in the 800 metres. So stay with us here on 7. So the half-time score here at the Gabba, Australia 27, leading South Africa 10. Australia scoring 3 tries to 1, and the awesome finishing of their big outside backs have really proved a handful for the South African defence tonight. 2 Australian players are still in the sin bin, Jeremy Paul and Justin Harrison. Bernard Cleath is also in the bin for South Africa. They have just over a minute to go before they return, but it's been a very impressive first half blitz by this Australian team. And Simon Poitevin, Corne Cricker, looks as though he won't be taking the field in the second half.
Yeah, he looked pretty beaten up in the first half, an inspiring captain, but looks as though he's on the sideline. Fantastic composure from the Wallabies in the first half. Plenty of aggression coming their way. They kept their cool. They sent the ball wide, their big backs, and they really created some havoc out wide. Springboks, the only way they're going to get back in this game is get some quality possession and territory.
Well, Chris Handy, it certainly sets things up for the big Bledisloe Cup match-up between the All Blacks and the Wallabies next Saturday night at Stadium Australia.
Well, it does, Gordon, and the Springboks had said the Wallabies lacked courage and that they didn't have any big hitters in their side. Well, Nathan Sharp has stepped up, and he'll need to continue to do it as he's the only first-choice lock forward on the field. And there, Bobby Skinstad. Let's see something from him.
Well, not the start Australia needed. The ball actually goes the 10 metres and into touch.
You've got to play the ball. And it went 10 metres.
It was a secret squirrel kicked that one.
Yeah, it's all about playing the whistle, isn't it? I think you taught that from the time you pull on your first pair of rugby boots. So it initially didn't go the 10 metres, but then bounced over the 10-metre line.
Now let's see if they can keep the gap down the middle.
Up the back to Matt Field, who timed it well. This is Goltz. Oh, he's impressive, isn't he? And a forward pass ruled. Gee, it was close.
That's a shame. What great play. One-on-one. Cannon came to the man, got bumped off.
Well, the other impressive player out here is Van der Kerk, who's also been on fire, just really enjoying this firm surface here tonight.
We need a bigger gut goal.
Again, that looked to be a pretty tough call on the Springboks, because you watch the motion of the hands, they appeared to go backwards.
Now Lawrence Safaka, he was replaced last match after half-time.
Here's Conradi. Back inside there from Matt Field. Springboks need to hit hard early. Barry, caught by Larkham. Sharp arrived. Conradi again. Joubert and Conradi on the loop. Scholz has made good ground. Now Lavaskugny.
This is how they played last week. Their big men carting it forward. That's forward.
Get away, goal.
So they're retaining possession, not making a lot of ground. And Matt Field with good skills. Bobby Skinstad was in support. South Africa looking for their second try. This is Matfield again. Australia being tested here. They are a man down. Skinstad again. Seventh phase for the box. Here's Pretorius. And the mark brilliantly taken there by Sterling Mortlock. He was waiting for it.
And such a famous cricket ground, Sterling Mortlock. Slips catch.
We'll be happy with that as the three Wallabies prowl the touchline. And Harrison and Jeremy Paul back on as that great catch taken by Mortlock, and he called the mark, and George Smith comes on. Brendan Kennan back to the bench.
Stop and listen to me, please. I'm sure you're very aware. I just want to make absolutely certain you know. Put a foot out of place, guys, and I've got no choice. 15, you know?
Well, you'll recall he did ask the question to the touch judges, is it a red card offence? And it must have been pretty close.
Just move away at the back, please, Gold.
So, Skinstad at the back. Bob Skinstad has been more heavily involved tonight, and he's been an inspiration in their attempted resurgence. Pretorius wrapped up. Good tackle by Finnegan. That was the big bear hug. Turnover.
Springboks hacking away at the Wallabies on the ground.
Gregan out wide and coming off a Springbok foot. So Pretorius there trying to take on the Wallaby backs, but Larkham and the big melon were waiting for him.
Well, criticised after the Christchurch game, Owen Finnegan, for not getting totally involved. He's been heavily involved in attack and defence tonight.
Finnegan to Noriega.
Still going. 5 seconds.
It's Bill Young at the back.
Use it.
Larkham, 10-metre line, his own territory. This is clear. Latham. And he decides against a quick throw.
Well, prowling the touchline as well as Matt Rogers, it looks like he may be brought into the play. Be interesting to see which position. I know Matt Burke has got a bit of a quadriceps strain, and maybe he'll come on in the centre.
Get on with the game.
So, Kepu wrapped up. Here's a chance for South Africa. Skinstad pounced. Labuschagne now. Australia back on their heels. Conradi. Van Niekerk. Sharp going in for the tackle. Dalton out wide. He was a decoy. Here's a chance. Joubert. And another one for South Africa. The only query is, did he get it down?
I call it good.
Great reaction from Bobby Skinstad to take the splintered ball up, move him forward, provide this opportunity.
Stepped over the sideline, and then he
It
cleanly
is
got rid of the
pure
ball.
pace. Mortlock came up out of the line, and then he took him on. Watch this, he goes down and places it. Great try.
That is brilliant, Chris.
Thank you, go ahead.
Fantastic skills from this young man. Look, he's pulled off balance, holding on to the ball. Over.
And that all came because one of the Wallaby players left the defensive line, took the gamble.
Thank you, Steve.
The try was virtually an open invitation from that point.
Well, they've issued the challenge. And this young man, great work by the Springboks. They got with DeWitt Barry, and that pass, like the French throw them. If you throw them high, it moves past. It allows you to get on the outside, and this man has the gas in the tank.
Great attempt here by Chris Latham to try and nail him. Went high, just ball and all, just gets down there, but unfortunately the skill of Marius Joubert gets the ball down.
What a match.
The Australian outside defence not getting it right there, and two players finding themselves isolated, and now Pretorius. So this has been a great comeback by the box. It's coming back here too. Oh, majestic. Little Andre Pretorius. And Rudolph Stroily and Tim Lane, the two coaches in their box with almost half a smile. This was a wobbly kick, but it did the job.
The Buddha, the late Desi Ross, would have loved this game. He's here in spirit, I'm sure.
He's an icon of the game. He's a wonderful coach. He loves the fun and the excitement of rugby and the big-time smash hits in the forwards.
There's Victor Matfield. So the South Africans playing with a lot more confidence now. They're sensing the Wallabies may have relaxed a bit with this big lead.
No, we're still going. Get on with the game,
And this is a driving maul that's gained over 20 metres. James Dalton now at the back. Dalton still going.
Let it go.
Well, he just got isolated there.
George Smith.
You're on your own.
All over him now.
Please, too.
This is kickable.
Thank you.
Just James Dalton got isolated. There he is in the tackle. You've got to release now. Two players having a go at the ball, and he didn't release early enough. The support didn't come quickly enough for James Dalton.
So a bad option there by Dalton to isolate himself. And Australia gratefully accepts the penalty, but not a lot of ground gain there by Latham. It's about 38 metres out. 27 to 17, so just 10 points the difference. It was a lot worse for the Springboks.
Now they've got to find their rhythm again and do it quickly, the Wallabies.
At one stage, the lead was 21 points. Latham's gone across to the left here. Watch him out wide. Here he is.
Get away, Green.
Well read by the Bok defence. Gregan. Noriega having a run. He's made a couple of darts tonight. Now Larkham. Again, quick ball for the Aussies. Here's Burke.
Smith there to provide the link.
Brayton Paulson, the tackler. Larkham again. Tune was just ran into a man there. The ball's gone into touch.
Oh, a good advantage there from Steve Lander, and the in-depth support of Steve Larkham tonight, a real feature. He's providing all sorts of opportunities out there for his outside backs. So you're linking all the time.
Clear indication. If you carry the ball to the line before you make that decision to pass or kick, then you get the advantage. And that time the ball into touch, but it came back for the advantage. Skinstad receiving some attention on the ground. And I know it's Ferner Greff, the fullback.
So the score here favours the Wallabies by 27 to 17. This match is being watched by a marvellous crowd of 37,258, just below last year's record for the Lions Clash. It's a sellout. And this is Matthew Burke aiming to increase the margin to 13 points. Just like picking daisies, really, for Matthew Burke.
Well, wholesale change is about to happen. The Australians, is about 4 players stripped to the sideline into their playing gear. Cobain, Ben Darwin, David Lyons and Matt Rogers.
I'm sure all those in the Hawke's Bay in New Zealand are watching this as the Wallabies and Springboks go head-to-head.
Get away, go!
Burke has 12 points for the game, 3 Australian tries. And that last penalty goal has actually increased him to 15. So 3 conversions, 3 penalties.
Leave it go!
Flicked out there.
That's okay, he's on his feet.
Australia, a little lucky to get away with that. And Latham hearing through.
Well, that's a Chris Latham special, the grubber. Again, applying the pressure, the territory advantage to the Australians in the first half, 60%.
Now can we get the gap down the middle? James Dalton. Cobain due on for his 50th Test match. Warms up on the sideline.
Lover-Scuckney.
Advantage.
Big tackle there by Finnegan.
Still advantage.
Pretorius to Blanche's being quiet.
7 gold, offside, too soon. Line out, run over. 7 gold.
30 plays 17. It's been an entertaining match. South Africa outclassed in the first half, but they've struck back in the second.
Too soon.
Answering after a blitz in the first 20 minutes by Steve Lander. Players got the gist of what he's up to. And big drop down in penalties in the second half of the first half. So now they have to remind it again. Stay on side.
Paul Honer's touch judge on the far side. Brayton Polser packs a big punch for a little man. He's really thumped that one down almost to the 10-metre line.
Wonderful conditions here at the Gabba. We saw rugby in the snow coming to us from the high ground and Perisher and Thredbo. This a lot better.
Van Niekerk. Well cleared by Conradi to Blanche. Well, there's some ferocious tackling again from Finnegan.
Noriega's done superbly in wrestling. Nearly got the turnover.
Pretorius now into open territory. This is Ben Tune. Polser ahead. And the ball was out in the full.
Well, it's all even in the ruck and mauls now. Line-out's all even. It's the turnovers. 9 to South Africa, 6 to the Australians.
Well, a converted try here would change the complexion of this game.
Well, that stat, Simon, 25, they did in the game against the All Blacks. A lot more disciplined game for the Wallabies.
Again, the driving maul. Australia not committing the numbers. Great work here by South Africa. Kefu wrestling for it. It's only 12 metres out. Pretorius. Skinstad to Blanche. Pretorius goes in. Conradi now. Lover-Skukny like a bulldozer. Smith was there. Has he pitched it? Almost.
Fantastic work there, George Smith again. Lover-Skukny took the ball forward. Smith in there straight away. Got it back.
Wonderful contest at the breakdown. Firstly Smith, then the South Africans smashing in. And then they played the man. Smith had the ball. Now it goes down and he plays it there. Look at Skinstad. You can't do that. You can't put your hand in at the ruck.
Well, I think Skinstad cleared George Smith out there, and then George Smith, off his feet, placed the ball back. But it was certainly in there for a long time. So Matfield's done well in the line-outs. He's been the most prolific winner on either side.
Finnegan doing very, very well at the front of the line-out for the Wallabies.
Gregan into fly half there. Larkham and Burke. Referee spotted another infringement here. Nathan Sharp over halfway. Bill Young. A rare run from him. Australia pick and drive here. They're on a roll. Latham.
Get away, Green!
Jeremy Paul on Niekerk, the tackler. Now Larkham again. A tester. Clear. Great skills from him. Dalton is there, so is Conradi. Skinstad, space here to Blanche. Almost through. Pretorius away now to Barry. The chase is on, and look at Polser. He could win it. Tune there first. He went without it. Polser. Skinstad. What composure from the box. South Africa right back in the game. And fantastic advantage there from referee Steve Lander.
Wonderful skills by great footballers. And Australia had cranked up the pace, but from a deeply defensive situation, they worked it wide. When they got the breakthrough pace from to Blanche, it was to wet Barry. That composure. He got tackled after he kicked the ball, but it rolled forward. Tune covered it, but couldn't hold it. Look at Polser, waits. The support arrives and the strength of Skinstad. Great try, the Springboks.
Well, huge influence from Bobby Skinstad. He started the movement up there with an excellent pass wide. To Blanche did particularly well. And Brayton Polser, one of the fastest players in South African rugby, provides the ball for the former skipper of the Springboks, Bobby Skinstad.
Bobby is back. Skinstad. He has answered his critics here tonight with a storming performance. And South Africa showing terrific spirit and passion here, this young side. And they've now thrown the gauntlet down to the Wallabies. So Pretorius, can he maintain this perfect record? 8 points the difference.
You'd have to be a genius to get that one back.
30-22.
Well, the question, waited
too long to bring Matt Rogers on. He should have come on when Australia only had 13 men. He would have been very much at home.
Go on.
Tap backwards to Barry. South Africa clean up again through Clear. They're looking very hungry now. Conradi. Tackled by Gregan and sent backwards. Like a rag doll. 30 plays 22, 8 points the difference. Australia at one stage ahead by 24-3.
Let it go.
Safaka having a good tug on George Smith's dreadlocks then.
So the Springboks have outscored Australia by 19-6.
Back me, please.
As we say, they've got rhythm, and it was at this stage in the second half against the All Blacks that they started to lose that little bit of composure, but they just seem to be gaining it minute by minute. One wonders whether interchange by the Wallabies will change that. They need something to step that momentum up.
Brayton Paulso, well, he certainly made a huge impact.
Wait till we form a line, please.
He's been in both of those tries.
Possession stats turned round since half-time, as has the territory. It was 60-40 at half-time.
Well, what an exciting test match we have here at the Gabba. Remember, Australia has never won an international here. This is their 6th attempt. Will the hoodoo continue? That's Van Niekerk. Spirited reply here. Skoltz, number 19, has made a huge difference since he's come on the field. Here's Conradi. He backs himself. Finds Van Niekerk. Now Matt Field. He makes good meters. Dalton again. Conradi and Safaka. Just coming off the boot there of Skoltz. Let off for Australia. They're looking to counter out wide, and Latham goes without it. In front of his goalpost.
This is dangerous. What fantastic field position for the Springboks.
Ollie LaRue prowling the touchline. I'd reckon that Lawrence Safaka is due to come off. And that one, Latham looks up, having thought that he caught it. And he's right under his pace. This is crucial. Great attacking position for the Springboks.
Stand up, please.
Andre Pretorius, the key.
Both of you wait for me.
Nice solid scrum.
Engage.
Turnovers just growing slightly for the Aussies.
Get off in line, get off.
Here's Ginstad going himself. Finding Skoltz. Smith is there. And Smith wins the penalty.
No.
Very clear to see from the referee's position. If you're isolated, leave your hands off it.
If I need a hand, help me out if I ask. No. Otherwise,
he goes to ground, Skoltz, and must release now. Smith is there going at the ball, and he tucks his knee up around it.
Well, you don't even get a split second these days.
You're on it now.
Matter whether the referees the tackle player or the tackling player or the arriving player. And it's difficult sometimes.
Well, George Smith has had a mighty game here tonight. He's won some crucial turnovers. He's been in everything.
It'll be interesting to see where David Lyons comes on, and it's Owen Finnegan who comes off.
Well, Simon, it was interesting in Christchurch that when Smith went from the field, Richie McCaw had a field day in the last 15 minutes.
And I think it's right to keep Smith on. He's forcing plenty of turnovers, although Owen Finnegan would be disappointed.
Ollie LaRue on for South Africa.
And you're right about Owen Finnegan. Buddha, he's had a great game for the men in gold.
South Africa not picking up the loose ball.
Lyons
it's a missed
straight onto it.
opportunity.
David Lyons sweeping, picked up the crumbs.
The Wallabies need to step it up here. Here's Herbert. Latham. Well taken. Smith was there, so was Larkham. And Gregan! No knock on. He regathered before it hit the ground. You can see the urgency has come in here from the Aussies. Here's Burke. Mortlock. Australia still have it here.
Smith is in a frenzy. He's in a ball-feeding frenzy.
Stephen Larkham. Oh, there's a huge tackle on Larkham. At the moment, he kicked the ball by Barry. Larkham a little groggy. And he's hurt too. Here's Latham now. Van Niekerk takes him. Latham 5 from halfway. And Latham isolated. Turnover. Larkham was absolutely hammered there. It looks as though he may have a cork on that right thigh.
I'm sure he
Barry.
He was committed to the tackle, and I think it was the knee of Devet Barry. It was a fair tackle. He charged. He didn't know whether Latham was going to kick. He had it in both hands. He was committed, and it was a showstopper.
Well, it was a Sydney Harbour Bridge pass from Mortlock to his Brumbies teammate.
Certainly no question of a shoulder charge. Had his arms wrapped all around Steve Larkham.
Fascinating contest here at the Gabba. Plenty of time left. 30-22.
With those. Got to move.
2 Wallaby players down for injuries. Now Pretorius. This must be right at the limit of his distance.
Is this where we do the outside 50 call, Gordon?
It's a 50-metre kick. He's got the distance all right. What a magnificent strike, but just missing.
Chris Latham giving a bit of help to the touch judges there. Paddy O'Brien, Paul Honus behind the stand as Cricket. Look at that eye. He's injured his body before that head blow too.
It can't only be that eye injury that's keeping Corne Cricket on the sideline. He is a competitor. He is tough. One of South Africa's best.
Well, he took a nasty one in the just underneath the rib cage. And here's an exciting player, Joubert. He scored 2 tonight. Latham plays on quickly. Dalton's there. Latham's off. He's beaten 3.
Nathan Sharp there to back him up again. And Noriega.
Gregan quickly wants the ball. So does Larkham. Here's Herberts. Again, Devet Barry charging through in defence. Herberts! Almost to halfway.
His strength at inside centre has been just superb tonight.
Referee plays advantage. Nathan Sharp over the halfway line. Here's Smith. So the advantage has accrued. Jeremy Paul. South Africa really competing here. Herbert again. Burke. This is Mortlock. He slipped 4.
Good contest for the ball.
South Africa's won it. Van Niekerk.
In from the side, he's saying, from the Wallabies.
Got no number.
Great thrust, good defence. What a great contest.
It was a great thrust from Sterling Mortlock. Got himself pretty isolated out there. Springbok players all over the breakdown. Let's watch it.
Goes to ground. Where are the Wallaby players arriving? They say that was in from the side, I think. I don't know.
It's one of those borderline ones. It's very technical refereeing.
And maybe then Larkham in 10 in from the side late was the call.
So let's have a look at our AXA angle here. And I think Matthew Burke will find this one quite enticing. 35 metres out. 18-degree angle. So he's not far off centre. And this will just give Australia a comfort zone of 11 points. Just over 14 minutes remaining. Burke looking for his 4th penalty. And he's hooked that one. So the Boks are still breathing. They're trailing by 8. but right in this match.
22.
And Matt Rogers increasingly nervous on the sideline. He just wants to get out there.
Here's Matfield coming through. Sharp and picked up there by Scholz. Sharp just paddled the ball back, basketball fashion. Now Van Niekerk. Hasn't he been a tiger for work tonight? What an outstanding youngster he is. Matfield. Reutenbach came in. Pretorius. Barry on the inside. Slamming there into David Lyons. Now a bit of space for Van Niekerk. Gregan's the tackler. He took him on. Todai Kepu was there as well. South Africa control it. Conradi. He's clear. Step beautifully. He needs to blanch. Australia come away. Well, Clear just went the wrong way there.
And
Blanche on the inside. And now Van Niekerk in the last line here. Mortlock's coming through at full belt. Van Niekerk's going to take him on. That's brave. He got it to Barry. Brilliant play for De Blanche. And then Stefan has kicked it out on the full.
Well, these new Springboks are covering themselves and their country in glory. They will have a go. No safety option and kick for touch by Van Niekerk. He shapes the kick and then pulls on two of the fastest in the Wallabies. And then the quick transfer. There's only Tabance's kick that goes astray as Matt Burke is replaced by Matt Rogers.
So does Daniel Herbert go to outside centre?
I think he does. So Rogers on at inside centre here. He's close to the action.
Stepping across and shoulder. Jump for the ball.
Now the chance here, Sterling Mortlock wants to have a shot. He has kicked very well in training during the week as Matthew Burke. A very competent performance.
Well, the referee saying stepping across and using the arm. This is getting close to repeated infringement. Huge crowd here at the Gabba.
115, there you go.
So there's our attendance, 37,258.
Well, Benny Perkins, all his work with Sterling Mortlock, see him slot this one.
He's sitting nervously in front of me as he looks at this AXA angle from my side of the field. Now it rotates to give you the kicker's view. 40 metres. He's done this before to win the Tri-Nations Trophy.
Yes, I think it was at a place called Durban, Kings Park, Tri-Nations, 2000.
This is a bit more like the place where John Eales kicked the Bledisloe Cup winning goal in Wellington.
He likes it. Well, it was a John Eales-like kick coming off the bench there to back up Matthew Burke. Matt Cobain set to come on for his 50th Test match.
And Ben Darwin will come on for Noriega.
So the game looking a little safer for the Aussies. Ben Darwin, the second strongest man in the tight forwards for the Wallabies after Noriega.
In the same club as 39 Wallaby Paul Collins. Nathan Sharp.
Well, I'm sure that Mark Keller and all his merry men down in Perish, including the Jindabyne Bush Pigs, are having a great time there after their big snow rugby tonight.
Go the Pigs and the Piglets, very strong in Jindabyne.
Yes, they've got a big screen down there at Perisher Blue, and they'll be celebrating if the Wallabies can pull this one off. But Brent Russell, the youngster, set to come on as well. Cobain just couldn't hold on. The ball went backwards. Kepu was there again. How effective he's been.
No advantage. Scrum, goal.
Knock on there from the Springboks, so it's a Australian feed.
Delaray Duplea, Chris, set to come on. The young prop forwards.
He'll take over the hooking role. Great work by Cobain. Disturbed at the top, but still able to win the ball. Goes to ground. Referee says it's dangerous.
To Blanche is off, and Brent Russell is on.
And Dalton.
Ollie LaRue's gone to hooker here, I think.
On advantage.
Here's Herbert. Pretorius just got him Smith. Now Cobain. Gregan. David Lyons. Wallabies going for the throat here. Larkham. Just tackled by Depria. Kefu. Half gap.
Get away, Dean.
They're putting the phases together now. And they're queuing up here. Herbert. Back to Cobain. Depria again the tackler. Springboks
Knock on.
may have turned it over. Tremendous defence. Conradi. Gregan after him.
Go on.
Picked up by Rogers. Where did he come from?
A great contest for the ball again by the Boks.
Here they go. This is their chance, and this is the quick man, Joubert. And now Russell. He is electric. Oh, just ankle tap, but he'll still get there. Brent Russell, this dynamic youngster, has scored an incredible try. He jumped out of the ground.
Well, it's beautiful rugby from one end of the field to the other. The turnover looked like Matt Cobain lost the ball, attacking the Springbok line, and then it was a movement downfield. Brent Russell, the excitement machine from South Africa, scores this try, and Conradre is having such a good game for the Springboks.
What a wonderful try as Matt Cobain in his 50th life prostrate down the other end of the field. Russell takes them all on. Ankle tap, stumbles, gets up, over.
Murray Joubert, what a fine game he's having for the Springboks as well.
Wonderful vision in the backs by the Springboks. And look at that determination on Russell's face. He'll remember the Gabba forever. Look at it, down, up, over.
Well, I tell you what, he really had the afterburners on. And he made his test debut against the Welsh. But what an exciting talent he is, and what a timely substitution.
Well, Matt Cobain doesn't look good as Pretorius takes the kick. He's walking back to his position.
Still plenty of time for South Africa to win this game. They've got a bonus point for their fourth try. This one's coming back. And just missing on Paul Honus' side. So the score here at the Gabba, still favouring the Aussies, 33-27.
Looks like Artie Jacobs in 21 jersey comes on the field for Werner Krief, the fullback, who's obviously struggling with a leg injury.
Well, Krief has made an impact on the international game here again tonight.
And Elton Flatley looks certain to replace Steve Larkham at fly half.
Well, it's been a very courageous performance by South Africa. They just keep coming back. They won't lie down. Australia's throwing everything at them. Here's Larkham. And Herbert now. Still the defence holds firm. That was Pretorius.
Play it.
Defences regroup. Here's Russell there first. And the bounce evades everyone. Coming in on the side of the ruck. 6 points the difference. And with 6.5 to go, allowing for injury time, this would again give Australia the cushion.
Well, it's something you have to take. It's not that time to go for the try. You need to keep that margin between the teams, particularly seeing as though the Springboks are so creative out wide. Good work by the Wallabies. They got to their man, the breakdown. Larkham was underneath. Herbert was there. Support arrived.
Well, let's not forget that South Africa has scored 4 tries to 3. They've got their bonus point. This will take a second bonus point away from them. Because if you lose a game by 7 points or less, you pick up a bonus point. But they're assured of at least 1 bonus point. And can Mortlock push it out to a 9-point lead with 5.5 to go? The Australian goal kicking has turned out to be a big factor. Not this time, though. That's Jacobs. So a converted try could do it for South Africa. And there's still over 5 minutes remaining. 33 plays 27.
Behind!
Crowd absolutely enthralled here. Pretorius.
Get away, Green! Get away!
Australia led by 24-3. Conradi, what a clever player he is. Russell's looming with him. This is Barry. And really testing the Australian defence now. Conradi again. Paulser goes himself. Where's Russell? He's the danger man. Conradi. This is Joubert. Just caught.
Darwin.
Ben Darwin. That could have been a try saver.
Scrum good goal.
He's been hunting for a tackle, Ben Darwin.
Wait, please.
He's hungry. Look at him there in shot. Head shaved down.
Change, please.
Big, strong set of shoulders, and he's just been dying to get on the field.
Well, this has certainly rammed it down the throats of a lot of critics who've written off this South African team. And as for their fitness, they are finishing very strongly. If anything, a little stronger than the Aussies.
Now it all comes down to possession and the choices made by this man, Elton Flatley, on the field at home in Brisbane.
I understand.
Product of Nudgee College, that great nursery. Another St Joseph's, and now the decisions that he makes are very crucial.
So Matt Rogers has gone to the wing.
All right, go nowhere.
And a free kick here for Australia. Dan Herbert at inside centre, Sterling Motlop outside centre.
This is a short arm penalty. You can see the bent arm of the referee. They can't kick directly from touch and retain possession.
David Lyons, Flatley. This is Cobain.
Get away, go! Get away!
Just short of halfway. Australia leading by 6. That's Mortlock out wide.
Let it go, Green, let it go!
33 plays 27. It's a cliffhanger. And Lyons is hammered on halfway. Shaw tackling again from the box. Jeremy Paul.
Leave Green!
He doesn't make any ground. But Australia running the clock down here. They're just retaining possession and slowly but surely gaining ground. Now Flatley's out on the left. He's looking for an inside ball. He threw the dummy. South Africa trying to turn him over.
Get away, Green!
Tying up possession, the Wallabies. Smart thinking. Darwin.
And almost pinched by South Africa. They have it. Turnover. Here's Conradi and here's danger. He's lost a bit of ground.
Come back. There's a knock on. Set the scrum. Green ball.
So fantastic work by South Africa again.
Now it's the decisions that this man Conradi and Pretorius will make from the scrum. Important one for South Africa. They've got their big grunt front rowers. Rudolph Stroily, the coach, on the left, and Tim Lane on the right. Nervously watch. Chris points the difference.
Chris, the Boks have so much speed in this back line. You've got Pretorius, Russell, Jacobs is very fast as well. We've seen how quick Joubert is. I think you mentioned Brayton Paulser.
And they're a very concerned Wallaby bench. Ewan McKenzie on the right, Eddie Jones and Glenn Ella looking like a front row themselves. Jones the hooker, McKenzie the prop, Ella looking more like a prop these days than a back, but Bill Young gets some treatment.
Well, I tell you what, it's allowing the Wallabies to take some deep breaths here, and you just wonder how necessary this stoppage is.
Yes.
Noriega's stretching on the sideline as he has to come back. Look at him pump up. Krautenbach. Ollie LaRue, the man that was born when meat was cheap. He'll be grunting it out in the front row there, straining to keep this one steady.
The Boks have speed to burn in this back line. That's where the threat's going to come from, and a huge Australian scrum.
He hasn't given the turnover.
I think the front rows came up first.
Oh, but anyway,
close.
They'll tent peg now, Gordon. You watch this Springbok side dig in here. This is the one they need.
It's solid. Pretorius left. Here's Paulser. Pretorius back there. Conradi now. Matt Field in close. Just smashing into Lyons.
Leave it go! Leave it
Now
go!
South Africa
leave
has
it.
to hold on to the ball. Here's Russell. Joubert and Russell on the loop. Barry with good hands. Was it a knock
It's a
on?
knock-on goal. You pulled it from his hand. Scrum, green ball.
Still South Africa's ball. Still a chance for the Box. Well into injury time here.
Not quite sure whether that's the right decision, but the referee went through it. Gold pulled it from green hands and then lost it forward. We'll see. Great work from Ben Niekerk. So I think he's right. It was pulled from the hands by Elton Flatley and then lost as Jeremy Paul. Look, I can remember someone a long time ago, 1980, against the All Blacks.
You can stop it.
That same place, bleeding like a stuck pig. And he'll have to come to the sideline as Brendan Kennan lines up again. So the plot thickens. More replacements as they go searching for the source of the cut.
Now, Chris, we have a minute to go. Brendan Cannon to come on. It's a war of nerves now for both sides. The Box are sitting on 2 bonus points at 33-27.
Wait.
What a wonderful test match. That's all I can say. The players out here will decide it.
Stay down, Gold.
South Africa still in with a big shout. Pretorius again. Bad pass.
And
Jacobs
knocked on.
missed it. Referee hasn't picked the knock on.
I think
you were close to it, Chris.
I think it came off his hand, but
it might be a turnover anyway. Ben June. That may have been the last chance for South Africa. Gregan now and Kefu. They're working it in close. Gregan. Here he comes, David Lyons. 5 to go. Big clean out. Big overlap. Advantage Australia.
play it out and score the try. Take the scrum now. This is the time.
8 seconds to go.
Will they take the kick or take the scrum?
Well, they've got to take the kick, I think, Chris, because that's the end of the game.
I think you're probably right, and that's the very settled, sensible version.
Once it's gone dead, that's it.
The crowd here at
The hoot is gone. They can kick it into touch.
No, they should take the kick probably. Otherwise, South Africa gets that bonus point. He will take the scrum. You're guilty. This is what we love to see. The crowd love it. They're having a crack, the Wallabies.
Can you skip, please?
Well, Australia, it could be a 2-point turnaround. You're absolutely right, Chris. If Australia scores here, they get a bonus point, and it deprives South Africa of a second bonus point.
Great
could be crucial in the wash-up.
That's great thinking by George Gregan. Now the boys have got to carry it out. This is the time where you stand up and be counted. This is the time where every bone in your body aches. Every muscle is stretched to the limit. Your eyeballs start bulging and shunking as if on sticks.
It's also the time where an intercept's on.
Dig in. You're right. And these South African backs have the ability to go to the length of the field.
Any mistake by Australia here will be punished.
What great TV. What great rugby.
Crouch and hold. Engage.
Controlled by Kefu. Here they go. Flatley. So close. Gregan. Lyons. David Lyons. Matfield was there. They've held him back. Gregan goes in for it. The Wallabies are all on the left here. South Africa a little skinny. Latham. And there it is. Chris Latham gets his second try. And that's the bonus point.
Don't you love it when Aussies back themselves in sport? This has been one of the great contests. It's wonderful that it's here at the Gabba where the Wallabies finished second last time out. They backed themselves. What a great decision by George Gregan. Latham, delighted to be back and finishing on top on the scoreboard. Look at this from Gregan. Takes it, backs himself, the flat pass. He crashes to the line. He looks short. Over!
Well, a fantastic finishing flurry here by the Australians, but they were pushed every millimetre by this very brave South African team. The Wallabies get maximum points, but 4 tries apiece. South Africa can certainly take a lot of positives from this game.
Well, I'm sure the South Africans will feel disappointed that they're not closer on the scoreboard, but you can't be disappointed with the manful performance they put in. Springbok rugby is back.
So just missing from Sterling Mortlock, but Australia by 38-27 in the final wash-up. They got their bonus points and they've downed a gallant Springbok team here. Australia's first ever victory at the Gabba.
Great test match as the crowd celebrate the opportunity to be here.
So we'll be back to wrap up, but Australia saluting the crowd. They've won the match by 11 here in Brisbane. Well, this capacity crowd of over 37,000 has been entertained. It's been a brilliant display from both sides. Australia went to sleep in the second half, which allowed the Springboks to come back superbly. But then the Aussies rallied and they finally got their bonus point. It was 4 tries apiece, and the goal kicking of Matthew Burke a feature. Sterling Mortlock also picked up 1 penalty goal. As we look at the stats for the game, 38-27. Possession was pretty even. Australia gained an edge in territory. South Africa missed a lot of tackles in that first half, and George Smith was a standout at the breakdown. Penalties favoured Australia 22-10. The discipline really hurt the South Africans here. But live Commonwealth Games coverage coming up from Manchester, so stay with us here on 7. Jana Pittman, gold medal favourite, to go round very shortly.
I'll go and get the main course.
Here you go, mate. It's duck à l'orange.
Duck à l'orange. Duck à l'orange. Duck à l'orange.
This is most amazing sunset I ever seen.
All right, shut the fridge, will ya?
That was quick.
Here is your drink.
Oh, thanks. I wondered where you got to.
I was Gordon McHugh.
Oh, sorry about
Hang
that.
on, just one second. Sorry. Hello? In the lobby right now?
Yeah, the whole team is waiting, my friend.
Right. Listen, I must go. I'm very sorry. I must leave right now.
Oh, okay.
Thank God he's gone.
Can we open up now?